mathematically, it'll give you this fundamental constant.
Careful there, O'Malley. You might fall.
If no one sees you,
I'm not invisible! I'm not invisible!
The movie starts with a calm scene of a 12-year-old boy named Conor sleeping peacefully. In his dream, he's standing on the edge of a cliff, holding his mom's hand tightly as she almost falls over. Despite trying hard to hold on, he loses his grip and she falls into the darkness. He wakes up scared and realizes it was just a nightmare. Conor found it hard to forget his scary dream because it felt so real. As the morning sunlight came through the window, he got out of bed and got ready for school. We find out that Conor lives with his very sick mother, so he has to do all the housework. Even with all his responsibilities, Conor finishes his chores before going to school. At school, a boy named Harry gives Conor a mean look during class. Later in the playground, Harry hits Conor while his friends watch. Despite the assault, Conor just ignores it like always and goes home. That night, Conor and his mom had a peaceful moment watching the old King Kong 1933 movie on his grandpa's projector. One scene showed King Kong falling from a tower, making Conor think of his scary dream where his mom fell from a falling church. Feeling inspired, he decided to draw his dream. As he was drawing, the ground outside their home by the big tree near the church started to crack and move in a scary way. Suddenly, a huge monster came out from under the ground, breaking through the earth as it moved toward Conor. At 12:07, the creature got to Conor's window and called out to him. Scared, Conor tried to find a place to hide, but the monster gently picked him up and held him close. The monster told Conor not to be afraid and said it wanted to be friends and share its stories with him. Conor shouted, "I can't be friends with you or hear your stories because you're a monster." The monster got angrier and turned a brighter orange, looking like it was about to eat Conor. But then suddenly, Conor was back at the table where he had been drawing earlier, confused and scared. He thought it was just his imagination. Still feeling afraid, he went to his mom and fell asleep. The next day, Conor wakes up and goes to the church, standing outside the church and looked at the big tree with both curiosity and unease. Just then, the church door opens by itself, but Conor doesn't go in and came back home. When he got back, he was surprised to see his grandmother, but he wasn't very happy about it. She wanted him to stay with her, but he said no, and they had a big argument. That night, as he was falling asleep, he had the scary dream about the crumbling church again and woke up terrified. When Conor looked at the clock, it was still 12:07. The monster appeared again from the ground by the tree and stood next to Conor. This time, instead of being rough, the monster held him gently. Instead of being angry, the monster asked, "You don't have to be my friend, but can you please listen to my stories?" Conor decided to give it a chance and agreed to listen to the monster's tales. The monster started telling stories about a royal family. There was a king, queen, and their children who lived in a luxurious life and were very happy. One day, bad people attacked, and the queen and the children were killed. Only the king and his grandson survived. The king loved his grandson very much and took care of him, hoping to keep their family's happiness alive. One day, the king got married again. His new wife turned out to be evil and greedy. She tried to kill the king many times but couldn't do it. Eventually, the king died because he was old and the kingdom was in chaos. The prince was too young to become king, so the wicked queen took over, saying she would rule until the prince was old enough. The prince was very angry and left the palace to live in a nearby village. The wicked queen wanted to stay in power, so she planned to marry the prince, her stepson. But the prince had already fallen in love with a farmer's daughter and ran away with her instead. One night, they slept under a yew tree, But when the prince woke up, he found that his love had been killed. Heartbroken, he told everyone about the queen's evil deeds and claimed his right to the throne. With the villagers' help and the powerful monster's assistance, they attacked the queen and defeated her. Because of this, the prince became the rightful ruler again, and the story ended. Conor then asked the monster who the bad person was. The monster said there was no naturally evil person. People's actions decide if they are good or bad. It's up to each person to choose to be good or evil. Conor then told the monster he didn't want to live with his grandmother and asked for advice on how to get away. The monster gently explained that his real problem wasn't with his grandmother, but with someone else he needed to escape from. As the monster's time is over, it went back to its world and Conor returned home. The next day after school, Conor was very worried to see that his mom's health was getting worse. She told him sadly, "The treatment I'm getting isn't working anymore. I need to go to the hospital for a new treatment." Conor felt very sad when he heard this. His mom then gently said, "When I'm gone, you'll need to live with your grandmother. Please, my son, don't give her a hard time. Do everything she says." Accepting his mother's wishes, Conor moved in with his grandmother. One day, the doorbell rang, and Conor was happy to see his father. Excited, he went with his dad to the park and then out to eat. During their meal, Conor told his dad, "I want to live with you, not with my grandmother." His dad replied kindly, "I want you with me too, but it's not possible right now. You need to stay with your grandmother for now." After spending some time together, his dad took him back to his grandmother's house, and Conor went inside feeling very sad. That night at 12:07, the monster came back to visit Conor and tell another story. The monster started. A long time ago in a village, there was a wise old father. In the same village, there was also a talented doctor who made powerful medicines from herbs that could cure any sickness. One day, the doctor went to a magical tree to get its herbs for his medicine. But the father came and stopped the doctor from taking anything from the tree, so the doctor had to leave with nothing. One day, the father's two daughters got very sick and no medicine helped. Desperate, the father asked the doctor for help, begging him to make medicine from the magical tree to save his children. But the doctor remembered how the father's actions had caused many deaths before, so he refused to help. The very next day, both of the daughters died. After that, the monster appeared and destroyed the father's house, showing the consequences of his past actions. Standing beside the monster, Conor watched the house being destroyed and felt an urge to join in. So he started smashing things too. Suddenly, he found himself back in his own home and realized that, in his anger, he hadn't destroyed the father's house, but had broken many of his grandparents' things instead. This realization hit him hard, filling him with guilt and regret. After a little while, Conor's grandmother came home and saw the mess. Even though she was surprised by what Conor had done, she didn't get angry or punish him. She knew Conor was going through a very tough time because his mom was very sick and didn't have much time left. She understood that Conor was upset because he was facing the loss of his beloved mother. The next day, Conor went to see his mom in the hospital and felt very sad to see her getting worse. She gently told him, "Son, this new treatment isn't helping me either," which made Conor very sad. That night, when the monster visited, Conor begged, "Please, can you cure my mom?" The monster, feeling sad, said, "I'm sorry, but I can't help with this." Heartbroken, Conor went home, feeling very sad. The next day at school, Harry told Conor he wouldn't bother him anymore. Not because he had become nicer, but because Conor seemed almost invisible. In the afternoon, the monster visited Conor at school, but only Conor could see it. The monster started a new story about an invisible man. It explained that invisible means something is there but can't be seen. This man wasn't invisible because of magic, but because people ignored and didn't notice him. After hearing the monster's story, Conor remembered Harry's comments about him being barely noticeable at school. He got very angry because he felt like Harry was saying he was invisible. Fueled by his anger and the monster's influence, Conor attacked Harry with more rage than he had ever felt. The fight got serious, and Harry was hurt badly and had to be taken to the hospital. After this incident, all the kids at school knew who Conor was. Feeling desperate and troubled, he ran to the tree where the monster lived and shouted, "Come to me, help me, cure my mother. I know you can do this." The monster appeared instantly and gently said, "I came to help you, Conor. I can't cure your mother." Conor got very angry at this. The monster, in a gentle but firm way, explained, "Everything I'm doing is for your sake. I cannot do anything to heal your mother." Hearing this, Conor screamed loudly, so the monster recreated the dream scene with strong winds and a crumbling church. In the dream, Conor saw his mom standing dangerously close to the collapsing church, just like in his nightmare. He ran to her and tried to save her by grabbing her hand. He tried hard to pull her to safety, but she slipped from his grasp and fell into the dark abyss below. Conor's heart broke as he relived the painful moment of his mom's fall. After seeing the sad and shocking scene, Conor felt both sorrow and surprise. The monster came to him and said, "Conor, now it's your turn to tell a story." At first, Conor didn't say anything and hesitated, but as the monster pushed him gently, he started talking. "I've always seen my mother in pain," he said with a shaky voice. "I love her so much that it hurts to watch her suffer. I've prayed hard for her pain to go away, hoping that she would get better." The monster gently told Conor, "You have to accept your mother's illness. She would get better." The monster gently told Conor, "You have to accept your mother's illness." Conor, with tears in his eyes, said, "I can't. In every dream, I try to save her. I'm sure she'll get better." The monster sighed and said, "That's not the whole truth, Conor. You might pray and try to save her, but deep down, you're tired of seeing her in pain. You're exhausted from taking care of her every day. Sometimes you even get angry because it's so overwhelming. You want her suffering to end, not just so she can stay alive, but so she can finally be at peace and go to God." The monster said, "Because you can't take care of her alone." With tears in his eyes, Conor admitted, "Yes, you're right. I've thought this many times, but I never really wanted to." The monster gently but firmly replied, "You need to accept this difficult truth now. You're holding on to her, and it's hurting both you and her. You need to find the strength to let her go, for her sake and yours." Conor, feeling overwhelmed by this realization, fell asleep under the tree. Later that night, his grandmother came looking for him. When she found him asleep, she gently woke him up and took him to the hospital. This experience helped them start to heal their relationship, and gradually, Conor began to bond more with his grandmother, finding comfort and support in their growing relationship. When Conor got to the hospital, he saw his mother for the last time and said a gentle goodbye before she passed away. In the following days, as life slowly returned to normal, his grandmother showed him his mother's old room, which she had lovingly prepared for Conor. As he looked around the room, Conor found his mother's old diary. To his surprise, it had drawings of the 3 stories the monster had told him. Even more amazingly, his mother had drawn the monster too, showing that she had met the creature in her childhood, often drawing it sitting protectively on her shoulder. From this point on, it's clear that the monster Conor had been seeing throughout the movie was just in his imagination.